I gave my micromanaging boss exactly what he asked for, and it ended up shutting down our entire division for a week. I work as a data analyst for a regional logistics firm, and for 3 years, things were smooth. Then we got a new regional manager named Kevin. Kevin is the type of boss who treats opinions like a full-time job and thinks productivity is measured by how stressed his employees look. His favorite phrase is, if you have time to breathe, you have time to optimize. We made a very clear rule in our department to just nod, agree, and keep doing our actual jobs because our metrics were always perfect. But Kevin couldn't leave well enough alone. The breaking point came during our quarterly review. Kevin stood up, slapped a massive stack of papers on the table, and announced a new policy. Every single task, phone call, bathroom break, and email had to be logged into a new tracking software he bought. Not just logged, but categorized with a written summary and submitted for his personal approval before we could move on to the next task. I looked at him and said, Kevin, this is going to severely bottleneck our client response time. He didn't blink. He just smiled a smug corporate smile and said, if you follow my process exactly, efficiency will skyrocket. No exceptions. Just follow the rules. I looked at my coworker Dave, and I could see it in his face. He was over it too. So, I stood up, looked Kevin dead in the eyes, and said, understood? Full compliance starting tomorrow. The next morning, the malicious compliance began. I didn't open a single client spreadsheet. Instead, I opened the tracking software. I spent 40 minutes logging the fact that I was opening the tracking software. Then, I spent 20 minutes writing a summary about logging the software, and submitted it to Kevin for approval. Dave did the same. By noon, Kevin's dashboard was flooded with hundreds of pending approval requests for things like replacing a blue pen with a black pen and wiping down keyboard grease, since the rule was no moving on until approved. Our entire department just sat there. We put our hands behind our heads, sipped our coffee, and waited. Around 2 o'clock p.m., a major client called with an emergency supply chain disruption. Usually, I would fix it in 2 minutes. Instead, I answered, told them I was logging the call, hung up, and submitted an approval request to Kevin titled, Emergency Client Call Triaging. Kevin's phone was ringing off the hook, but he couldn't answer it because he was drowning in over 800 trivial approval requests from his own department. He was stuck in his office, furiously clicking approve like a manic gamer just to clear his screen. By day 3, client shipments were completely frozen. The warehouse was at a standstill because we hadn't released the routing data, which was waiting in Kevin's approval queue. The panic across the company was absolute. On Friday morning, the vice president of operations flew in unannounced. He walked past our desks and saw 12 analysts completely motionless, staring at blank screens. He marched into Kevin's office and demanded to know why our metrics had plummeted to 0. Kevin tried to blame us, claiming we were staging a strike. The VP called me into the room. I didn't sweat. I just pulled up Kevin's printed policy memo and showed the VP my tracking dashboard. I pointed to the screen and said, we are in 100% compliance. I am currently waiting for Kevin to approve my request to explain the data to you. The VP's jaw dropped. He looked at Kevin like his brain had stopped working. The relief across the office was instant. Kevin was demoted back to a regular desk role by Monday, and the tracking software was thrown in the trash. Honestly, worth it.